what?
We're live.
Oh.
Hello everybody.
Are we? Oh.
We are. Just going to turn the other camera on. Cool.
Oh, it was counting down.
Yeah, it was. And I pressed the wrong button. Alright, done. Hello. Right. Stream status is good. I'm just going to organise some IT. Right.
Okay.
Alright, cool. We're good. Alright. Hey Maddie. How you doing? So, we've got a few people waiting. We're just gonna, okay, we've got 7 people online. That's cool. So we'll kick off. Coming in clear. Alright, cool. I can sit down there as well. Sweet. So thanks for joining us, guys. It's the first live feed we've done for a while. And we want to obviously update you on where we're at. We've had a huge amount of progress over the last, I suppose 4 months, something like that, since the last live feed we did. We've had Richard over, and we've had a few people sort of give us a hand, and yeah, it's been awesome because the leap forward that we've made has been pretty awesome. How you going? Sod Buster, howdy. I like your name, buddy. Paige Greer, holla, come Esther. I can't speak foreign. Holla, coma Esther. I'm going to assume that means hi. UK says hello. Loxton, Poxton, cool.
What time is it over there?
Must be like midnight or 1 AM or something.
Thanks for staying up.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. We know Reese is online.
Yeah.
He stayed up. He's in
Ireland.
Yeah.
Robin, how you going from America? Trips Walter, love the show, awesome work, nothing but love for Brew Pig crew, thank you. Alright, so I'm going to get distracted and I'm going to keep asking questions. So we had a plan. So the plan that we wanted to touch base, so we've got a heap of new subscribers. Since the last time we've done this, the channel's almost doubled in size, and we kind of wanted to give, the first bit of this live feed is going to be a little bit of an overview as to what Brew Pig is, who we are, what we plan to do, all of that sort of stuff, so that new people can kind of get a sense of you know, what this all is.
But ask questions, we'll just interrupt us.
Yeah, we'll go back through the questions.
Just interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hi from Jersey in the States.
Hi.
Ronald, is that Ronald? Yeah, it's Ronald. Looking at tiny little writing on.
You can see here clearly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rotorua, hey!
NZ, hi!
So welcome guys, and thanks for joining us. My name is Damien, and this is Jess, and we've built Brew Pig with the help of a huge amount of people and the support of people all around the world.
Oh, Ryan's not with us today. He's
Yes.
been here every other time. He's house sitting for friends with animals in Brisbane, and he's working on a new intro and doing an interview for Doug and from Seeker. Yeah, so he's busy, but hopefully he's on.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
See what he's up to today.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So yeah, I suppose I'll give you a 5-minute overview of what Brew Pig is and what the project is. Basically, Brew Pig is it started off as I suppose it started off as our dream, Jess's dream and my dream, to create a really strong, capable boat, and
we didn't really know
yeah
what it was going to be, but we knew. Does Brew Pig any future cruise the States? Maybe, yeah, we'll be definitely going.
I'm going to put something in front of the questions.
So
Focus.
Brew Pig, so it started with us, and we knew it was going to be about people, but we didn't know how. But we just kind of went, we just got to trust our instincts. We just were so passionate about it. And it was scary starting because it was such a big task. And and then partway through, probably 2 years in, it got the vision got really clear. It's about getting people on board and travelling around the world and helping researchers have a boat that's going to be a little bit unique to other research boats, and a crew that's a little bit unique as well.
Rambunctious. Yeah.
So a little bit gutsy when necessary, maybe. So but we're aiming to be veggie oil powered, so we can go places and not disturb the environment. We can travel at lower cost. And we're making the boat really, really strong and people friendly, including disability friendly, as much as we can.
And part of the motivation for having the type of boat that Brew Pig is. So Brew Pig is a 57-foot steel fishing trawler, and she's been converted from being a commercial fishing trawler into more of a passenger boat. And the reason we chose this boat specifically is because it has enormous fuel capacity. So currently it has...
We need to start answering questions.
Yeah, we'll get there in 2 seconds. So thanks for the questions as well.
Quick.
Okay, so Brew Pig basically has huge fuel capacity. So when we hit the ice, it's going to have 27,500 litres of fuel. Yeah.
Hope not.
Boom! It's going to have 27,500 litres of fuel. So that'll be a combination of veggie and diesel oil most likely. That gives us 8,500 miles of range, or if we get frozen in over a winter, it gives us 12 months worth of fuel to keep the boat heated and basically just waiting out the ice until it melts and we can get back out again. So it's a very specific boat for doing some really full-on adventurous stuff. So we're building it to be capable of going to Antarctica, Patagonia, Northwest Passage, in fact maybe even Northeast. Mediterranean.
It's going to take some convincing.
So the boat is really strong and really capable, and yeah, I suppose I better touch on that. We're not limiting it just to ice work, unfortunately. So we will be going through like the tropics, and we'll probably be cruising through Amazon and Caribbean and a bunch of different places that are sort of more normal cruising grounds.
So how to work is we'll have sort of an idea of where we're going, what leg we're doing, or what trip or what research project we're doing. And we'll put that online, and Patrons or anyone who's interested in getting on board can get in touch if they want to be on that leg, or they want to be involved in that research project, or they want to come and hang out some gorgeous spot on the planet for a month or whatever. There's going to be a varied kind of options, very different options, and it's pay as you go. Everyone, including crew, everyone puts into a kitty, and because we're going to make it as affordable as possible, and it's an independent boat, we're not going to be limited by a cruise boat sort of idea of what a trip is or anything like that. It can change, and it can be quite wild, I suppose. It can be quite interesting, and hopefully will make a difference to everyone who comes on board, and to research that's necessary for the planet. So that's the overview. So we're on the downhill.
Sorry, I just want to touch on the research thing. So Jess mentioned that we're keen to do research projects and things like that. Absolutely, that is something that we want to help and use Brew Pig for. We're in, I can't say too much, but we're in really preliminary talks with 2 different research groups to do different projects.
Very different projects.
So one is involving a lot of drone work, and another one is involving a lot of ROV work. So completely opposite end of the spectrums, but and that's the beauty of Brew Pig, is because it's an ex-commercial boat. If we need to weld a big bracket on the side of the boat to be able to do a job, we will. Like, we're not afraid to use this boat. So if you have research or know of people that are doing research or want to suggest some research, get in touch with us on our website. We really want to hear from you guys. We're particularly keen to look at anything that's going to leave the planet in a better position than when we got here. So anything to do with enhancing the knowledge about climate change, anything to do with sort of rebuilding reefs or oceanography or anything like that, just let us know. It's awesome. Holy crap.
Far out, thank you.
Come to the US. Motor vessel, wretched beast.
So did I just see Northwest Passage? Yeah, we're both really passionate about getting there. It's one of the spots we really want to go to.
So so we're just going to go through some of these questions. So actually, before I do, I really want to say thank you to Motor Vessel Wretched Beast, who just chucked in $25 in the pot.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
It means so Brew Pig is completely community funded. So what we've built so far has been mostly funded by my salary, and that's a limitation in terms of how fast we can build the boat. And we've got a few Patreons now. We've got a link in our description if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, but it really makes a world of difference.
We got the engine started
because of Patreons. Like we got our engine started, we were able to buy all of the parts needed to be able to do it, and it makes an enormous difference. If you're ever wondering how channels like this survive without Patreons, they actually don't, and they tail off and disappear after a few years. It makes it possible. So thank you very much for everybody that supported us, and if you're considering it, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, questions. All right.
So there's a fuel question there, which I think.
So I'm just going to go to the top.
Oh wow, look at that.
Right, okay, so Oregon, America, nothing but love.
Hello from America.
Is the best boat and his best boat building channel on YouTube. Thank you. It's not a competition, but thank you very much. On the chat, looking good. Oh, Ryan's on the chat. Cool.
Hi Ryan.
Anders from Norway. Sweet. Does Brew Pig have any future plans to crew Trips Walter does Brew Pig have any future plans to cruise the States? Yes, exactly how and where and when, I don't know, because it depends on where we're going. So for example, one of our first trips is probably going to be south, and we're hoping to maybe get to the ice down in Antarctica, and then head back along and up to Chile. It entirely depends on what the boat's capable of and weather and a whole bunch of different factors. But from there we'll probably be heading north and heading up towards the Northwest Passage, so we'll be definitely going past the States and stopping and cruising. We've got a heap of followers and supporters in the States, so yeah, we'll almost certainly be doing a lot anywhere from sort of Mexico up to sort of Canada. We'll probably be having a lot of people come and go on the boat, I imagine. So yeah, to answer that question in a nutshell, yes we are. How exactly, I probably can't tell you because I don't know.
But we're very open to suggestions. So, you know, get in touch, and if there's somewhere you are, we actually really would love to get around all our patrons where they are located in the world. And this is a 5 to 10 year plan, but we would love that.
Okay. Digimir, let's make it awesome. Okay, so exactly how awesome? How awesome do you want it?
So exactly how?
Exactly how. So Brew Pig gets awesomer and awesomer the more that we can get people on board the boat and the more support we get from our patrons, because we can do more things. We've had patrons come in. Richard was a patron we had recently flying from the States. Him and his wife Michelle, they stayed for a month, and it was so cool having them on board, you know. We get to know our people that come on board the boat through our Patreon. So when people sign up, you get to talk to us all the time, and that's partly how we start that process. How's the diesel fuel recovery going? Paige Greer, diesel fuel recovery. So we haven't made a huge amount of progress on the diesel fuel recovery.
Well, you're stopped because you need to do the veggie oil thing first,
so the process,
so that you can process the diesel and then we can get it tested.
The things that we have to do before we can get the diesel oil, a yes or a no on the diesel, is I have to build version 2 of the veggie oil processor, because I need to run the diesel through it to take the water out, to take the salts, and to filter it as well. So I can't do that until I've built the fuel processor, which I'm hoping to do in the next maybe month. I've got some parts on their way. Another supporter in Sydney, Australia, sent us a vacuum pump, so a really good quality 2-stage vacuum pump. So I need that to be able to build the version 2 processor. So I'm just waiting on sort of parts to arrive and things. I've got some downstairs, but most haven't got here yet.
So a few questions about what's left to do. We've got a list in front of us behind the camera, and it's 20 things. They're all quite big. So I'll run down it really fast. If you're interested in something particular, just ask. Yeah. So fuel and motor, that's almost done. Dane's just finished putting the fuel system together, so that's almost done. Side doors, we need to build the side doors and attach them to the pantograph hinges. The dash, we have to build a sort of an array for the gauges. There's one of our sponsors who's Red Arc. They've donated gauges, and they've donated the time of someone to come and wire them up for us. So we've got to get that finished, which is incredible.
They're stunning gauges.
Oh my gosh, and the guys are just amazing. We've got an episode that will come out soon to explain it all. We've got the solar system on the back. We've got, how big is the system?
It's currently 2 kilowatts, and I want to bump it to 4 kilowatts.
So that's almost done. We've got to bolt that on, and we've got to wire that up. Veggie oil system, what Dame's has been talking about, needs to be finished, and that we need to actually install that system inside the engine bay. The generator needs to be mounted and running. It needs some parts. It's one we've got donated, we found in the bush. So that needs a little bit of work, but a beautiful, beautiful thing. The keel, we've got to close that up, and we've got to put fresh oil in the keel.
That's not a big job. It's just welding a patch and then filling the tank of oil.
Yeah. The hull needs to be watertight, blasted and painted. There's quite a bit to do on the hull, and then we've got an NFL. The stabilizers, the wing stabilizers that will be attached to the side of the boat need to be built entirely. We've got the metal, so we've got to build that. That's quite a big job. The glass in the back windows, we've got plastic in the windows at the back here at the moment, and they're really noisy and horrible. We're going to have to get glass in them. The gates, we've got 3 gates at the back, including one that will be used for diving and equipment. They need to be, we've got 1 built, we need 2 others built, and they need to be attached. Hydraulics for the anchor winch needs to be done. That's quite costly. We've got that priced up now, and we're starting to save for that. We'll do most of the work ourselves. Patrons will be helping us. Their funding will make a huge difference. We've got to build the anchor. Well, Dane's going to build the anchor. So he's going to design and build an anchor, which will be very cool. We've got to do the second coat of 2-pack on the decks. Everything has to be bolted in, because right now it's not like that. For example, the dishwasher needs to be bolted so it doesn't slide around when we hit the water. We need to clear all the rubbish around the boat, all the stuff that we're using, the wood and the metal. We have to recycle all of that and clear that away. We need to blast the rim on the wheelhouse and paint that. Nav lights need to be all hooked up, electrics, and that's right, we have to repack the gland.
Oh, the rudder gland. The shaft that the rudder basically is connected to has a grease leak, so I don't know why it's leaking grease, so I've got to strip it all apart, figure out how it's been put together, repack it and put it all back together again.
So this is the definitive list of what it's going to take for dump and run. In other words, getting in the water. We're not going to have insulation, you know, it's not necessarily going to be pretty. We have bedding, we have a kitchen that'll work, we have a bathroom that'll work. We have the motor that'll get us places, and then when we hit the water, the work continues. But that's enough to get us in the water, get us out of the yard, the cost of the yard. It means we can actually start moving and start doing stuff.
Sorry, I just want to jump in. Jess mentioned dump and run. For new people that have only just started watching the channel, have a look. I think it was about maybe 10 or 15 episodes ago, we did an episode called Dump and Run, which actually explains our theory on getting the boat in the water. Pretty straightforward. Dump and run is only the things absolutely needed to get the boat in the water and seaworthy, then you've got stage 2 as sort of final completion. We're aiming for dump and run at the moment. We want to be in the water and start using the boat. It doesn't have to be perfectly finished by the time we start using it, so that's dump and run.
Are you guys going to have a machine shop on the boat?
God, I hope so.
We're aiming to. It'll take a while to build up what Dave wants in that, but yeah, there's plenty of space in the engine bay, so that's what we're thinking.
How thick ice, damn it, I lost it. How thick ice can Brew Pig handle? Is sailing in the ice dangerous? Sailing in the ice is very dangerous, that's why you should always do it in a motorboat. No, I'm only kidding. No.
That's a personal argument.
I'm an ex-sailor and I like motorboats now. So, how thick ice can Brew Pig handle? I honestly don't know. I couldn't probably tell you.
But some experts have given us an idea that, you know, we'd be able to break through like a, what was it, 2 inches?
One guy, so we haven't done calculations on that sort of thing, but we spoke to a guy who builds boats in the Bering Strait up in Alaska, and he said they go through ice quite frequently up there, and he was saying based on our horsepower, our prop, the size of the boat, the thickness of the steel, the spacing of the ribs, all that we went through heaps of specifics. He said we could probably get through ice maybe up to about sort of 20 centimetres thick. It would probably take a bit of ramming at times to crush through it and break it and so on.
But the goal is that we can move things aside without, you know, not having to move things with a stick or, you know, avoid places because you can't push little bits, growlers and things out the way. The goal is that we can actually move around, and we still might get stuck. If we go into Antarctica, we'll be going with, coordinating it so we're travelling when other bigger boats are going down to restock different places down in Antarctica, so we're not by ourselves. So if we do get stuck, you know, we'll be able to call on someone. So we're not going to do this in a stupid way, but we want to still be able to be quite independent.
To be clear, we're under no illusion. Brew Pig is not an icebreaker, but we are building it so that we can be in the ice without risking, like sensible ice without risking, you know, life or limb.
We should answer some questions here.
Yep.
Wombat Towers engine.
Door seal mix is pouring and is setting up.
Oh,
awesome.
Great.
So one of our supporters in the States, in Vegas, Richard, who was on the boat for a month, he's working on some, I think it's a silicone or polyurethane that we're using for our door seals. We spoke to Doug on Seeker about the brand that he used and the sponginess of it and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So between Richard, Doug and myself, we've kind of figured out what we need to do, and Richard has ordered the stuff in the States and he's doing a test at the moment and setting it up to see what works. So once we've got the results of that, we'll be able to actually pour the polyurethane into our watertight door that seals off the engine room from the freezer room. So I think it was 1 or 2 episodes ago, or maybe the last episode we did, about the freezer room door, or the engine room door. The black rubber seal that we put in didn't work, so we're going to try something else, and that's what Richard's trying for us now.
Not 4K solar, 2K, but aiming for 4K. That's
4K solar must have good resolution.
It's a David Turner.
Yeah. So I've got a solar system on the back of my space nerd squeal. I don't realise you mean panels.
But there's a universe on it. Orange bound. Do you still consider yourself Kiwis? Yeah, definitely.
God, yes.
Yes. It's actually, we've noticed quite a difference between Australians and Kiwis.
Yeah.
And as you get to talk to different Australians and from different regions and things like that, they do really notice it too. So, although there's similarities, there's definitely differences.
Phil Quinn, are you going to? Sorry if we're like racing through these questions because we're trying to keep up. We want to answer everything. So, are you going to reinforce the bow for pushing ice and sitting in ice? Are you going to carry engine spares? Yes to all.
Yes,
So at the moment the ribs on Brew Pig are 450 mil apart. We're going to add a second rib in between every existing rib.
At the front. Well, quite a way down the side.
Actually, no. It's from the deck down to the chine pretty much. In the first third of the boat, it'll be all the way down to the keel, and then the rest of the boat it'll be from the deck to the chine. Because the sides of Brew Pig are quite straight, so we want to put lots of strength in those so they don't crush in like that. And we will be plating the front with a plate that is 6 meters from the bow back is 6 meters and 1.5 meters high. Geez,
it sounds strong when you hear it like that.
Yeah, so that's basically for abrasion resistance, and the ribs are to stiffen the hull up. As for engine spares, absolutely, we're going to carry pretty much. I'm an ex-engine reconditioner, so we're going to carry enough gear on the boat to be able to deal with probably 95% of any problems on the boat. So everything will be having a spare crank, full engine rebuild kit, all of the tools needed to rebuild the engine in the middle of the ocean, like pistons, conrods, bearings, seals, you name it, the whole lot.
We'll have things like 2 anchors and redundancy as much as we can, but we also accept that at times there may be something that we can't actually overcome and we have to sit something out and get help. But I don't think that's going to happen very often. We're just going to work our way around that. Would have to be Michael. Thanks. Where are you going to tie up once launched? Well, we're going to be here for a little bit while we do sea trials, and we're really close to the Great Barrier Reef. So that's our first port of call. So we'll be here for a little while we go through that. It's in Burnet Heads near Bundaberg in Queensland. Where's the pup? He's snoozing.
Not anymore.
No. Titanic.
Titanic sea.
Yeah, well, we'll see. How review?
Oh, cool. Ryan's just put the link for the dump and run video up.
Oh, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, so if you're interested, scroll back a few comments, but there's a link for the dump and run video for the new people. Why the cool of the Antarctic and not some warmer climates? So we're Kiwis and we struggle in the heat. Antarctica is a more normal heat for us. No, it's
the most amazing. Yeah, just the incredibleness of it, the rawness of it, how isolated it is, how rugged it is. It's
kind of a once in a lifetime place to be able to go.
Yeah.
And like we've got the ability to go down there, and it just seems. We're so close. We're in Australia. We're in the southern hemisphere. We're not far from Antarctica. You know, like it seems silly and a waste to miss that opportunity.
Although it's terrifying.
Oh, it scares the crap out of us. You know, like.
But it's a mixture of wanting to see a lot of the world and sort of the more raw or wild places in the world. So I think that's why we've got the boat as tough as we have, so we're not limited. We can actually see some pretty wild places, some pretty raw places, I suppose. Yeah.
Penguins taste better chilled.
Thanks for the hint. Hi from NZ, Russell, hi!
Richard Beast, I closed my shop and had a lot of leftover stuff. Let me know what you need. I could be able to help.
Wow.
That is
cool.
Awesome. We can't contact you via YouTube, but could you send us a message on our website? We'd love to talk. Yeah, just let us know. Yeah, thank you.
Brad Scott, no one wants to see me in a bikini, but I'm sure someone will at some point.
I could wear a Borat bikini.
Well, yeah, that could work. Fascinating, thanks.
4 people missed. What? 4 people missed the thumbs up next to it.
We've got a very very committed following of thumbs down. Actually, we consider them family, so
we find it really funny. We get like 4 to 10 thumbs down on every video. No
Whether they'll do it just before there's no time to have actually watched the episode.
Yeah,
we're fascinated by them.
We find it hilarious.
It's a lot of work to do that, but no, it's lovely. We're
really
not worried.
Committed. Sorry I'm late, I was bringing firewood in. Video of the Aurora Borealis with Brew Pig would be awesome, wouldn't it, man? That would be so cool.
Wow. Yeah, we just want to film everything we can, everywhere we can.
How do you fund all this marina fees alone? It must be horrific. So I touched on this earlier. For the first 3 years of Brew Pig, so we've had Brew Pig for 4 years. The first 3 years of Brew Pig's build, we're a single income family, and I was funding it 100% on my income alone. And we stripped everything, like cost-wise, we stripped everything out so that we could afford to do it.
But the marina where we are have given us an amazing deal. When I got sick, we were just really open with them that we're down half the work crew, because I used to pay Damon his workload on the boat, and then when I got really sick and got my diagnosis, which everyone knows about, we just talked to them really honestly, and they were so amazingly supportive, and they said, just, you know, what can you manage, because we had to stretch the project timeline because of that, and because of that we can afford it. It's not cheap, and once we're out of here things will be a lot easier, but it is an amazing location. We've got so many trawler guys. I mean, just the guys who are actually on the boats, have been on the boats for 30 years, they talk to us all the time, they give us a lot of advice, and the work guys here are amazing. Everyone's very supportive of what we're trying to do. So that's how we can actually afford it. I'm really glad we're here actually. It's amazing.
Three things. One, that my work's allowed me to be able to work remote, which is what I do. I work from Brew Pig full time, and the marina has been incredibly supportive of what we're doing, and our Patreon's fine. And as I said earlier on, our Patreons, they make this possible, you know.
Do you want to answer this one? Turn this on?
Yeah, alright, hang on, marine please. Actual serious question. Are you going to mount an ROV handling cable and winch setup, a frame or crane boom? So Tim, Tim Pierce, are we going to mount an ROV handling cable or winch setup, a frame or crane boom? Yes, we've got plans for a crane boom that can swing things onto the rear deck, so underneath the roof, but onto the rear deck of the boat, and including people, or probably up to maybe 300 kgs, something like that. So reasonable sort of weight, and that can swing out over the transom and then out over either side of the boat as well. As for mounting like a reel system or something along those lines, we haven't got one, and we don't have any necessarily plans to put one on. However, if we do have a project that needs it, in a heartbeat we'll put one on. It just entirely depends. There's no point in me building something and then it being of no use for the project. I'll wait till we have the project to build it. But yeah, absolutely, that's what Brew Pig's for. If we need to weld something on the side of the boat or the deck or whatever, we will. Whatever it takes, we'll do to support the projects that it's doing.
Thanks, Michael from Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. Yeah, just your thoughts, mean it a heap.
Sorry, I'm
just we're here.
Where are we up to?
Yeah. Do you want a watchdog for the main engine?
John Myers, do you want a watchdog for the main engine? I don't know what that is.
No, it's probably just a name thing. Can you describe it for us?
Yeah, just let us know what that is. I'd love to know more.
Can we not have that massive engine failure when I'm there? Thanks. Okay, we'll schedule that in.
That's making more sense. Your plating was seeming kind of thin for ice.
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm from Texas. I'm not going to hold the fact that you're from Texas or a sailor against you.
Awesome. Antarctic climate is not a lot different to South. Yeah, that's what we've heard. It's actually not as big a deal as people think. It's just whether you get trapped in ice or not.
Scott Jack, they're called mankinis, Damien. My home waters are the Southern Ocean. I know what you're on about.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Bob down. I used to work on fishing boats down in the Southern Ocean, so I spent a year and basically floating around the Southern Ocean. I'm absolutely in love with it. It's the most remarkable place in the world, I think. So.
Why would you not go there if you could?
I can't wait to get back there. Yeah. And the wildlife down there is just unfriggin' believable. Like I've honestly never so there's birds down there that you don't see anywhere else in the world, like wandering albatrosses and big sharks, you know, and just the most remarkable stuff. Oops. And it's teeming down there. So I got to get there, man. I've got to take some people down.
Neil, yeah.
You guys, it's hard to believe you haven't been welding forever. You make welding while still on stainless, not painless. Brad Scott, paintless welding. Yeah, it wasn't at the start, buddy. That's, kgs and kgs and kgs of welding. Too bad you don't like the warmer climates. We'd love to meet up with you guys somewhere in the world.
Yeah, there's, like, because we're doing some of the colder areas of the world, we're not excluding everything else. There's a lot of distance between different cold areas of the planet, and we're hoping to get to quite a lot of it. So yeah, no, it's not a stop at all. It's and we manage the heat. It's quite nice. We
live in tropical Queensland at the moment in Australia, so it's not unusual to get a 37-degree day sometimes when it's stinking hot. So, but yeah, we definitely will be going through the tropics and sort of the equator regions and so on. So yeah, sing out, stay in touch. Sorry, Wit. Digimur.
Thank you.
Countering the full bum. The thumbs down are for people sitting in their mum's basement and are jealous they can't do what you all are doing. You always leave a thumbs up if you're watching from the start. Bass 167, that's awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. It really doesn't worry us. It really doesn't.
What's your paint schedule, layers, and how will you treat interior rust when underway? So Jeff Seagull. So paint schedule, layers, and how will we treat interior rust when underway? So we use 2-pack and single pack on Brew Pig. Where we need really high abrasion resistance, we always sandblast, and we use 2-pack because it's pretty much the only thing that seems to stand up to the wear and tear. And it's really good paint, like we've got trawlers that have come in and out of this yard, and they get 25 years sometimes out of the exterior paint on their hull, so that's like a phenomenal lifespan for paint. Previously, boats like Brew Pig used to use chlorinated rubber, which is a good paint in that it stays on, but it's not the easiest of things. It's pretty toxic and it's pretty hard to remove, and there's a lot of negatives with it. And epoxy 2-packs are much sort of hardier these days than the old chlorinated rubbers and stuff.
And when we bought Brew Pig, we made a decision to accept that rust is a daily experience, and that we just take care of it as we go along. We've got rust kill where needed. We use a single pack where we can. So that we can repaint, thicken it up, and particularly in areas we've discovered that if like along a rim or something, we use a lot of layers, like 6 layers. So we'll 3 of undercoat, and then we'll do the 3 of the top coat, and we're assuming we'll be toughening up that as we go along. But
it depends on what we're going to be doing with that part of the boat.
Yeah.
And so what I mean by is that 2-pack has really good abrasion resistance, but if you hit it with a hammer, it'll chip off like plastic and you'll be exposed to steel straight away. So 2-pack would be absolutely garbage on the waterline of Brew Pig if we hit ice, because it'll just peel off the paint. So in areas like that we use a single pack because it's nowhere near as strong as a 2-pack, but if we hit ice, it'll do a scratch, imagine like a key mark down a car, it'll do a scrape, a line, but it won't rip off the paint all the way around.
And we can cover over top of that. We use 2-pack on the deck because we're going to be dragging kayaks and machinery and
walking up and down.
So that's 2-packed, and we're going to do it. What's it called? Like a cork rubbery layer on top for walking areas.
It's an adhesive. It's a cork with an adhesive on the back, and you stick it on the deck. So it depends on what we're doing. So areas where we're going to get a lot of ice and things like that, like handrails and stuff like that. Either we leave it bare stainless if we can, if it is stainless, or if it's mild steel, we paint it with a single pack because we have to go around and whack it with a hammer so that we get all that ice off. So if that was 2-pack, the paint would explode off with the ice. If it's single pack, even though it's a weaker paint, it's much more flexible and it's got a better chance of staying on. So there's certain paints for certain areas. As for interior, we pretty much just, if we need to, it's only spot rust, we'll just throw a bit of rust kill on it and then chuck some oil-based etch, single pack oil-based etch, and then just a top coat over top of it.
What's really cool though is, having been working on the boat now for so long, areas that hidden rust that you always get in these kind of boats, and particularly this boat because it's been underwater, because it's sunk, those areas are now really obvious to us, and we're going through and we're blasting and redoing those areas really properly. So little corners that we didn't know about, and if we'd just gone and insulated over top of it, we wouldn't know. Yeah. So it's really great. It's turned out really good. So yeah, we're working our way around there's not many, there's only a few, but yeah, it's actually quite good.
Adam from Brisbane, one of our supporters that came up and gave us a heap of help with electrics and stainless work. You see that he's watching. Tim Pearce said a watchdog for the main engine equals a guy that watches the engine underway.
We've actually been given the hard word by someone we really respect, who's been on boats his whole life, that you check it every 30 minutes, and we have gauges and cameras and stuff. So we're actually going to be very very careful with it.
Hope you've got a good heater and lots of coffee. Yeah, we will.
We will.
We'll have a heap of heating in this boat. So what do you do? So this is Tim Pearce. So what do you do when you want to do the completely finished boat? If it was tomorrow, what's your dream voyage?
New Zealand, Antarctica for me.
Yeah, it would be for me. It would be scoot down the east coast of Australia from where we are. We're in Bundaberg.
Reef first.
Yeah, so we do the Barrier Reef because we're literally right next door to it. We're 40 miles away. So first off, we'll be going there to get some great shots of there's like the southern end of the Barrier Reef is teeming with life. So I'm pretty keen to photograph that and see what's going on over there, and then definitely head down to the southern end of New Zealand. So if you're interested in some some amazing shots, have a look at Fiordland, Milford Sound, Auckland Island, Stewart Island. These are the sort of places that we want to go to.
So really we're going to much hotter because we're going to go up north, and then we're going to go south across to New Zealand and Antarctica. If we could do it tomorrow, that would be incredible. But it's going to take a while. We're going. We'll get there. Yeah.
SV Basic is in here. Oh yeah, right, cool. Someone's saying it. Tim Pearce too cool. That was.
That's interesting. It's all about light. Brupeg is all about mass. Yeah.
There's got to be a science joke in there, isn't there? Mass over time equals velocity or something like that.
Engineer. Wouldn't miss it.
Onboard lifestyle, SV Basic. Hey guys, how you going?
Hi.
A watchdog monitors oil pressure and water temp. If the main engine dropped below preset parameters, it will shut the engine down.
Right.
Cool. We've got one. So the company that is supporting us with our gauge system and our engine management system has a version of that in their system that they've got. So we have alarms for everything. So like low water temp. We're monitoring all the stuff like exhaust gas temp. Because this is primarily a motorboat, not a sailing boat, we've put all of our effort into like gauges and controls and displays that tell us everything that's happening in that engine room. So a lot of focus has gone on that engine. And the other side of it is every single thing that we have is duplicated. So we have a set of gauges in the wheelhouse and duplicate alarms, so wheelhouse and then out in the back end of the boat as well. So if one fails, the other will pick it up. And they also have a complete redundant set of duplicate gauges in the engine bay. So if something weird's happening with gauges up in the wheelhouse, we can race down and have a look in the engine bay at what's going on, and they run off different sensors. So for example, a water temperature sensor, we've got two running to two separate gauges. So if one dies, whether it's the gauge or the sender, we've got a complete redundant system that's completely independent, so we can check the data coming from the first system. So Brupeg has a lot of that, so between 2 and 4 layers of redundancy for almost every component on this boat. So yeah, in terms of engine management and monitoring, I think we've got that covered, but certainly as we go through it, we'll learn more, because I've never set an engine up like this before. So as we go through it, I'll learn more, and if there's a deficiency in what we're doing, we'll, like always, we'll be open and frank about it, and we'll admit if it's not going to work, and we'll go and do something about it.
Everything's a trial.
Yeah.
Interesting. Next question, Brad Scott. When are you getting your solar farm finalised? Batteries, lithium, iron phosphate?
Yeah, so solar's going on hopefully within the next 2 months. It has to be on before we launch, so it'll be within the next 2 months. And it will be 2 kilowatts, it won't be 4 to start with. We'll build the 4 up as we go. At the moment, I would love lithium, but I can't afford it. It would be, the ultimate for me would be like a power wall or something like that. But I just can't. I've got so much boat to afford to build. I can't afford to go down that road. So at the moment we just have AGM sealed batteries. We've got 4 12 volt 200 amp hour batteries, and
we're doubling that though, aren't you?
I'd like to triple it.
Right.
But it's wired up as 48 volts, 200 amp hour, 48 volts lead acid. So we've got 100 amp hour usable at 48 volts.
But there are many things on Brew Pig that we've decided to do it the way we have, so we can actually get moving.
Yeah. And
financially, it's been limiting. But we as part of our scheduling is that we'll upgrade as we go along as we can. So things will change over time. Things that are not optimum now.
when out at sea, what medical assistance will you have? Are you concerned about Jess's health when in Antarctica?
When we do big expeditions, what we're going to organise is a proper medical person on board, because if my health drops, which it can do just out of the blue, we need someone who can handle putting a intravenous in or whatever, manage me, keep my heart going and stuff like that. I've accepted the risks, and anyone who comes on board has to be able to accept those risks if they have health issues. But yeah, we're definitely going to have someone who can handle that on the bigger expeditions. And anything that, if I'm having a bad time, I may miss 1 or 2 trips every now and again, and meet up at the next port. So yeah.
Frank Hopland from Norway. How you going? Geez, it must be early where you are, mate.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Brad, Scott, will you be insulating the hull? I think you guys freeze your ass off when you get to the ice. Yeah, we will. So we're actually going to copy so it'll be insulated all above the waterline as per normal in most boats. Below the waterline, we're going to be insulating the same way that they did the freezer room originally in Brew Pig. So they lift the insulation off the hull slightly, about 1 inch, allow the water to channel down into the bilge and be taken out, and then insulate above that.
By water you mean condensation?
Condensation, sorry, yeah.
No masses of water.
Yeah. So yes, 100% insulation front to back on this thing.
Stopping in Bluff? Yes, probably actually. It's Bluff or straight into Port Chalmers, Dunedin.
Nina Bondtich, is it? Yes, yeah, definitely keen to get into Bluff. In fact, I spent a year in the Southern Ocean, and the coldest I ever got was when we stopped in Bluff.
Bluff's really cold.
Yeah. With the freezer room, so Jacko, with the freezer room sleeping area, what sort of soundproofing will be installed to cut down engine noise? Just the foam that you would put behind the window vent in that area. Oh yeah. So so Scott, that the polystyrene that we used in the vent a couple of episodes ago was 60mm thick polystyrene. In the freezer room, we're going to have 240mm, so it's I don't know, what's that, probably 10 inches, something like that.
This is the bulkhead between the engine bay and the accommodation.
It'll be, that whole room will have that on every surface.
You're going to do every surface?
Yeah, and the reason being is that so a lot of yachts, when they go into the ice, if they ever get completely frozen in, there's a really handy survival technique that they use, is they basically seal off the ends of the boat, so your V-berth and your quarter berths, just get rid of them, seal them off, and you heat and live in the smallest possible space you can, because you really need to conserve your heat and your energy and all that sort of stuff.
And you have a double door system, so you don't lose the warmth.
Yeah.
You come in and then you close that door and then you open the next one when it warms.
And they say that after sort of 9 months of being completely 100% iced in, a yacht will have sometimes up to 300 kgs of water vapor in the ends of the boat from like breathing condensation and so on. So one of the plans with Brew Pig is if we have to, we can seal off pretty much the entire boat, and that will be our survival bunker in that freezer room. So that's why we have such thick insulation down there.
Thank you. Look at that.
Oh, that's awesome. Who
Top
did that?
Chat. Is that
That's
the name of something else, isn't it?
No, we'll find out who did that.
Oh, thank you. We're finding out.
Someone donated $20.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We can't see your name right now, but we will find you.
We'll find you. Will Brew Pig be kiddie friendly? It actually has had, with some helpers have had to bring their animals, and yes, we've accommodated that. We've had 3 animals and 3 dogs on at one point.
Brad Scott, there we go.
Oh, thanks, Brad.
Use this for pup treats.
Yeah. So questions up here.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going through. So, Tim, you should stop in the Pacific Northwest on your way down. It's only 8 times the distance. Kitty friendly. T for bastards. God, I love that.
That's a great name.
Hey guys, quick question. It may be your accent, but is the boat named Brew Pig or Brew Pig?
Brew Pig.
So it was built by a guy called Bruce, and his wife was called Peggy. So Brew Pig.
But we probably say it Brew Pig.
Brew Pig. It's been called Blue Pig. Yeah, you name it.
Actually, its nickname was Blue Pig.
Blue Pig.
Yeah. But locals 20 years ago.
Brew Pig. What's the min number of crew to run the boat? You could run this boat on 2 people, quite comfortably. If you had an autopilot, you could probably run it on 1 if you were prepared to sleep and plough into something. But yeah, it's an incredibly easy boat to steam with. It's really, really simple. It's just like driving a car basically. The setup that we have in the wheelhouse.
And the design of everything is for ease of use, so that when we have people on board, it's not a hard experience. I mean, there's always the movement and the storms and the whatever, but we're trying to actually design it so it's very, very comfortable. Handholds everywhere, sort of thing.
Hi from Gladstone, Rust Bucket Mokes. Hey mate, how you going? Awesome, Brad. I'm late for the stream, so this is.
Have you picked a launch date?
Stent. SVMVMC.
Oh,
good God. Okay, so I'm late for the stream. Have you guys picked the launch date? I'm excited for you guys getting closer and closer every day. I love you guys.
So we're very nervous to sort of go. We want to be in the water by January, but that's the goal. As January, there's a lot to do, but there's always a lot to do. So that's our goal, and we've got a stretch target to March. But we're actually not prepared to go past March.
Yeah. So
we're being a bit sort of stern with ourselves about that. So January is our goal, and it just depends on if we can keep up the pace and
right. So morning all. Very warm and toasty.
Hi, Bill.
When I. Oh, Bill Waggins, yeah. Hey. Brad Scott, very warm and toasty down below when I come down to crew. It'll be awesome. It's gonna be so warm in this boat.
Apparently you're better than Doug at welding. Oh.
It's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition.
Don't get me started. Oh, no. Okay, Blue, where are we? Brad Scott.
Oh,
Blue.
nice. You're coming down to crew, Brad. Awesome.
Yeah. Tim Pierce, Brew
Kidding, yes.
Brew Pig. Painted like a giant beaver. What boat did you go to Antarctica on? Nina, it wasn't. So I used to go down to the Southern Ocean. I used to hang around Auckland Island and below.
Dame audited for a company that was contracted to the New Zealand government on fishing boats.
Yeah.
So and you've also been on a long line or something.
Yeah. So I used to probably 15 years ago now. I was worked on one trip as a fisherman on a longliner, and we went out to the Chatham Reef. The Chatham Rise on a Sea Lord's longlining boat, and we spent 7 weeks out there fishing. And then a few months later, I started work for another place that doing auditing on offshore Korean boats. So whenever in New Zealand, they've got quite strict rules to look after their marine environment, and whenever a non-New Zealand flagged boat comes in to fish in New Zealand's water, they always put what's called an observer, and that person essentially makes sure that you're sticking to the rules, you're catching what you said you did, where you said you did, all that sort of stuff. So, if you know the boats down there, I was on the Dom 1519 for months and months, pretty much from Auckland Island and below, mostly going after squid and a few other fish like that. And hands down, best job I've ever had in my life. Absolutely loved it. Not because of the fishing, it was not because of the horrific smell that I used to come back with. Jess used to burn my clothes because they were that full on.
Oh, it wasn't good.
It was just the most amazing wildlife down there, and that's what really cemented my love for that area. And pretty much since the day I left that boat, I've been wanting to get back down there, and I can't stop talking about it. I absolutely bloody love it. So, and I want to take people down there because not many people get to experience that part of the world because it's so remote. And that's partly why we built Brew Pig the way we did, is because we've got the ability to go down there with people,
How are you going to obtain your vegetable oil? Will you have ample supply? Yeah, we'll process where we can when we're in populated areas, and you can actually order it ahead to ports. So when we can, we'll do that. It's not that hard. From what we've researched, it's just timing. It's just making sure that the schedule works and that the port can accommodate us.
Yeah, so there's two ways that we get our oil. We can either collect it ourselves or buy it. And collecting it ourselves is free and slow. We often probably won't have the time to do that. But it's also not very expensive to basically buy veg oil off the global market as well. So it's between $150 and $280 per tonne. So it's not an expensive commodity, and we can ship it into the port. So we'll forward ship our fuel and then process it and pump it into the boat at that port wherever we go.
Yes, we'll be waiting for the Peter Donaldson. Yes, we'll be waiting for the summer to go to Antarctica. Yeah, so it won't be this coming season. It'll be the next one. So it's a year and a half, 2 years away.
Will the exhaust smell like French fries? Yes.
Yes, apparently it does. Yeah.
Or Indian or Chinese or whatever it was that it came from when it was collected.
Secret fish spy. Given the popularity of crude oil. Greetings from Northern California, Rich. What type of expedition do you plan to run? Rich
Sasser, what type of expeditions do we plan to run? So we want to basically go to really remote and beautiful places of the world. So not excluding warm places, we want to go to places like the southern end of New Zealand, Tasmania in Australia, definitely, and we want to try and get to Antarctica, Antarctic Peninsula, Patagonia, and Northwest Passage, and maybe Northeast Passage, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And then in the warmer areas, I'm particularly keen to check out a lot of stuff in the Pacific. So in the southern hemisphere, it's really common for like cruising yachts to go up into the South Pacific, you know, in the winter time when the cyclone's not there, and then come back out in the summer. I'm pretty keen to see a lot of that because like it's some of that, you know, some of those reefs and atolls and islands are just the most stunning places. So wherever there's like just sensationally beautiful nature, I want to go and see it and experience it.
There'll be a variety of different trips. There'll be small ones a weekend. There's going to be like barbecues on the back if we're in a populated area. A weekend trip away. Then there'll be month-long expeditions if we're doing a research group. We're supporting someone like that. It may be a 3-month stint. It's varied. Intensity and difficulty of passages will vary. There'll be some really lovely times, just, you know, a month held up in gorgeous areas, just fishing and diving, and there's going to be a variety, and it'll unfold. But we'll let everyone know, and you can just let us know if you're interested on any particular leg, and we really want people to come aboard and enjoy it with us.
Yeah. Brew Pig was always built as a social boat, so yeah, we definitely want to have people with us when we do these things.
If you happen to have a generator and solar system failures, are you going to run?
UPS and the bridge keeping essentials running. Yes. So Scott Jacko, 87.
Good question.
So yeah, we've again multiple layers of redundancy on Brew Pig. So we'll have currently 1 2-kilowatt system. When I add that to up to be 4 kilowatts, we're going to have two 2-kilowatt systems. So we'll have 4 in total, but there'll be 2 separate systems. So if one fails, the other's a backup. They'll both be running simultaneously, but the chance of both going down at once is pretty low. We'll also have 2 wind turbines, again independent of each other. So they'll be 600 watts each. And then we'll also have we'll have the generator downstairs. We'll have the main engine with an alternator, and we'll have the house bank will be we'll eventually have 3 house banks, all the same size as the one that we have now. So in terms of redundancy, there's going to be massive layers upon layers.
It really is all about redundancy to make sure that these things happen.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is, a lot of people talk to us about having one main engine. You know, as in it's risky and it's scary and all that sort of stuff. If you have one engine, you maintain it like your life depends on it. You know, if you have a second engine, you don't maintain them to the same level. And
you kind of trust that you've got backup, and then what happens if the first one fails, you haven't maintained the second. So yeah, it's important. We've been told very vigorously by the local trawler guys that you know, have one engine and look after it.
And the other thing is, most commercial boats in the world have single mains, you know, and commercial engines are very different from like pleasure boat engines in the sense that they're really big and really heavy, and they don't put out a huge amount of horsepower, but because they're built so heavy, the parts are really thick, so they don't fatigue as easily. So they're much more reliable than like a smaller, higher revving, lighter diesel engine that might have come out of like a higher performance boat, or a, you know, like in a yacht, you don't want to have a 1-ton main engine because you've got to try and sail with that huge weight. Whereas in this boat, our main engine is 1.5 ton with the gearbox.
So Tim Pierce, any idea what you expect for top speed?
It cruises at 9 knots. And I'm guessing top speed is maybe 11-ish. I don't know, we've never had the boat in the water.
We've been told by guys who have worked on this boat who've, what's it called, Petrol, yeah, this boat's actually really good in the water. Its speed is quite good.
Actually, there's another boat that that often comes out beside us, and this boat and that boat used to petrol together, and this boat used to arrive at the fishing grounds a day early every time. So they put a bulb on the other boat to actually try and speed it up to keep it up with this boat. So Brew Pig is quite fast. It's got a very fine bow. It's 20 feet wide, but it's got a really fine bow. It was designed to cut through waves on breaking waves on bars, on river bars. So it slices through the water really smoothly. It's not
bulbous and kind of resistant as it goes through the waves. It cuts. So we'll see. Yeah, it's a lot to learn about it.
John Cox, would you tell us the music you use during your videos? Is a female who sings the music, string band, may not be.
So we're actually going to do this from now on. We're going to be putting a list of the music that we use in the description. in the description. Yeah, so we'll do that from now on. So just maybe we should update the last two. We've had a lot of questions about the last two, so I'll go through and I'll just update if we haven't put the names on. So we'll do that soon.
But to answer your question, John, I'm almost 100% certain the person you're thinking of is a band. It's a Brisbane band called the Long Johns, and the song is called Club Footin' It. It's an awesome song. I absolutely love it. So yeah, have a Google. They've got their song is on YouTube. But yeah, check it out. I'm pretty sure that's the one that you're after.
What kind of internet access, if any, will you have out at sea?
Yeah, that's from it's from Madison Digimur. Cool. So there's two layers of internet that we'll have. One is basically long range 4G cell phone internet. Long range being maybe out to 20 kilometers. And then after that, we're going to be restricted to possibly satellite only internet. So expensive and slow. However, there's a sailing channel, SV Marinus, I think from the top of I think that's how you say it. He's spoken back and forth to us a couple of times about different things, but he did a live feed from the middle of the Pacific using SSB, bouncing it across to a repeater station in Oregon, and then he was streaming in 720p, so like pretty good HD quality for like a really long range live feed. So I'm quite keen to find out about that, because if that's the case, it means that we can have decent internet, you know, wherever we are in the world, basically using SSB.
Somebody just fell down.
We had a whiteboard behind the camera with all of our bits and pieces, and it's all just crashed over.
Wow, that one's coming up.
Comments are moving.
Well, thank you.
Bosco Bob, $5. Oh, thank
thanks.
you. Will you be sharing your MMSI number?
What's that?
So us armchair sailors can follow your journey as you move about the globe. As soon as I know what that is, Bob.
Can you tell us what that is?
We haven't got that far yet. I'm sure when we have one, we probably will share it.
But we'll do our best to keep everyone with us the whole way.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's something to consider if you're coming on board. There's the high possibility you'll be videoed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Digimur around the Horn of Africa would be pretty amazing. Yeah. Like Skeleton Coast and some of those, I can't remember the name of it. There's this one area where they get a huge amount of great whites chasing seals, and they leap out of the water and stuff like it's just amazing. I'd love to see that. But.
So this won't be a diet-friendly excursion.
So this won't be a diet-friendly excursion vessel. Depends on what diet you want to be on. Yeah. So me and Jess are allergic to quite a lot of food, so we eat like really specific foods.
But when people come on board, it's like food is really hugely important, particularly if you're working on board or you're travelling on board. So food's actually one of our biggest concerns, and we make a lot of effort. So
kind of think of it though, like in a way, I like to think of it that when people come on board, it's a bit like their own boat. We want to make this as homely as we can. So
specific diets are really welcome. We had volunteers, and they were called keto diet, which is quite a restricted diet. No worries. Allergy diets, no problem. It's just about making sure that there's enough food available, and everyone pitches in who can cook, shares the load. So.
Rich Sasser ever thought of photography trips? I actually had that thought the other day.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it would be really cool to get someone that's like really great at this stuff, and get them on board and actually do like a workshop-y type thing.
Yeah, with Ryan.
I thought it would be awesome, eh? So yeah, definitely. And if somebody...
It's actually something we've been thinking about. Definitely.
If someone's an avid photographer or videographer or blogger, or like if you do any of that if you're in that world, get in touch with us if you're keen to work with us, because like when we go to the Barrier Reef, for example, like I want to document as much of that as we can, because with climate change, that coral in that area is going to be under massive stress, and who knows if in 20-30 years if that's actually even going to be there because of ocean acidification and stuff.
So in terms of photography, like being on board a boat that you can say, I want to go over there for that shot. Yeah. It's very different. You don't really get that opportunity, and because we're really passionate about the visual thing, it's actually something we're thinking about a lot, particularly with Ryan. Ryan's so passionate about that stuff. And he'd be available. So
double up on alternators. Yes. Well, we're actually going to have 3 alternators, and they're all going to be identical to each other. So if one dies, we can swap them out pretty easily. Peter Donaldson, are you going to have a dive platform, etc. on the rear?
Yeah. Yeah, people have been saying not to do it, but we actually think that's really important, the access and the right ladder and all of that. So we'll be doing that. Yeah.
Did you guys? I'm looking at you too, Reese. Have been making me question my life choices. Just throwing that out there. Listening to just stopping nice places for a month. Sigh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, are we lucky? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Cape of shit. What am I doing down here?
You may be.
Bullshit. One engine fuel efficiency. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sorry, Reese asked. Yes, are my comments showing up? Yes, they are. We're just like trying to get.
Yeah, we're getting there. Getting there.
Is recycled veggie oil susceptible to diesel bugs? Yes, it is, but it's not the same bug. So diesel bug is basically mold from the atmosphere. So whenever your tanks get full and empty, and so on, atmosphere goes into your tank, and bacteria that's in the atmosphere sort of sinks into the fuel and actually starts eating and living in that fuel. Different strains of different bacteria go for diesel than they do for veg oil, but it is susceptible to a version of diesel bugs. But it's just as easy to kill. You just throw some biocide in and then filter it out, problem gone. So yes, it is, but it's not really an issue. Okay, there is either a dog under the black cloth on the right or a basketball-sized spider.
I think it's meaning this, is it? The little mushy?
This fella?
Oh, you're waking him up.
Sorry.
Sorry, darling.
Oh, sorry.
It's quite humid and warm here. He's crashing quite a bit this morning.
We could have actually just said it was a basketball-sized spider because it's Australia.
It is Australia.
Yeah.
What's the horsepower you're running on your motor?
Tony Falk. So currently it's a Cummins 855 that's running 350 horsepower. And we were going to derate it to 300 because Brew Pig needs 206 at the prop to get to hull speed. So I did ponder derating it to 300, but I've sort of thought about it afterwards. I thought, nah, I'll probably just leave it because if I'm in the ice, I want that extra thrust to be able to, ram that ice and get it out of the way.
They have the cutest dog on YouTube. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we think he's pretty cute.
That's also true.
Hello from Missouri.
Hey.
Hey.
KB Bacon. Life on the board. Hey, Ross. You seriously need more fiberglass in that boat, you guys. I know a guy.
Love these chats. Oh, thanks, Ross.
Thanks very much. So yeah, Life on the Mould. If you want to check out a pretty awesome fiberglass boat, go and have a look. Ross is building that down a bit further south from us in Australia. And likewise, sailing vessel Zora is a mate of ours building a steel yacht in Ireland. So yeah, check out his videos as well.
Yeah. Anton?
Really? Anton spent 6 years in the Navy and I miss the ocean. Have a great journey, stay safe.
Oh, thanks. We actually talked to quite a few people who've been in the Navy, and my grandfather was an engineer on the big ships. And yeah, it's
Have you watched Teleport's YouTube series? They went Onboard Lifestyle. Have you watched Teleport's YouTube series? They went over the top of North America from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We'll be right up your alley.
Yeah, right. You want to have a look? Yeah.
I think I've heard that. I think I've heard of that boat. From memory, that was the Australian couple or something that did it in like a little wee boat or a little yacht or something like that. Either way, I'll check it out. That's awesome. Thank you.
John Cox, thank you. I appreciate you answering me. I'll look them up.
Oh, cool. Yeah. He's going to make some coffee cups out of fiberglass.
Long Johns, yeah, great.
Cool.
Oh, thanks. Don't bring that.
The spiders try to get. Don't bring the dark magic here, Roscoe.
You cracked me up. Awesome drive-by shooting comment.
Don't know what that means.
No. No. I hope that wasn't an iceberg.
Maritime mobile service. No, identity.
Oh, okay. All right.
Unit
We'll look into that. Yeah.
Is assigned to a digital selective calling
Cool.
radio. Oh, right, or an AOS unit.
Right. Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we will be getting. Is it a Type A? The sends and receive AIS. We will be getting one of those, and definitely we'll be letting people know where we are because I actually want to do the live tracking thing on the website, but no point at the moment because it'll be stuck in one spot for the next 2 months. So as soon as we're in the water, I'm pretty keen to look at doing that sort of thing. Ross, get back to editing the birds.
A retractable keel?
Can you add a retractable keel for stability? Sailor asking, would much prefer rounding the Cape with a weighted keel. So Brad Scott, retractable keel for stability. we don't have a retractable keel, but we have basically a keel in Brew Pig that has cement in it. So there is like a weighted ballasted keel in Brew Pig, as in like a lot of commercial boats have weight right down the bottom. Brew Pig also has stabilizers, so we're going to be, we're yet to build them, but we're about to start the work to build them. They are 8 feet long by 3 feet, so 3 feet front to back and 8 feet long out each side of the boat. They hinge off the chine and they swing all the way down. I wasn't. And they swing all the way down. So you've got basically like on a 45-degree angle, you've got 2 big fins, and they help hugely to stop that rolling motion when you're going through the sea.
Okay, there's not a weight limit for crew.
Cameras.
7-time belts on those alts and maybe 2 power takeoffs.
Oh yeah, cool. Yep, thanks Mark, cheers. 206 to get to hull speed, but in what conditions? In perfectly glassy conditions with like nobody breathing the wrong way.
You briefly mentioned capacity to take pups and such. No, I was asked how is that going to work? So I'm assuming you're meaning Mishka. He'll come with us where possible. We're quite concerned about quarantine around the world, so we'll only take him. We'll coordinate our trips to work in with healthy and good quarantine experiences for him around the world. Sometimes he may not be able to come, and I might not be able to come on trips. So he'll be land based where necessary, with family or yeah. But he should be able to come most places, I'd say.
Yeah, it pretty much just depends on what the rules are for that country, really. Because some countries, like for example, coming back into Australia, they're quite harsh. You can leave easy, but coming back in is quite harsh. So some countries are more strict depending on the country that you're coming from. So yeah, it'll be a case-by-case basis, pretty much. But we definitely want to take them anywhere we can, really. You briefly mentioned capacity. Fully laden with fuel plus the boat. What's the gross weight going to be? Tony Fawkes. So
74.
Right now, completely bone dry. She's 40 ton. And the 2 slings is 20 ton at the front, 20 at the back. So it's pretty even. And fully loaded, it will be close to 70. It'll be just shy of 70 ton. There's 140 people watching. No one else has any questions either. The nice, easiest way to talk to you. Ask away. Thanks, Brad. Not related, but a beer. It's like, let's talk about it. Bill Baggins. I've done something. Oh, there we go. Brad, I was joking about the queue. See that dollar button Jess really likes when you hit the super chat. Thanks, Brad.
How put another thumbs up to your channel? Not sure how it works.
I'm not 100% sure. I think the thumbs up and like comments, I think that's why everybody asks people to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and if you like that, tell us in the comments and stuff like that. I think everyone asks for that because I think it helps YouTube decide, oh, people are actually engaging with this video.
Yeah.
But as a channel, we don't see, like, YouTube definitely won't tell us how to make our channel more popular. They want people watching videos and interacting to determine if a channel's good or not. So my understanding is that yes, they do matter, but I really don't know how or what it does. It just basically tells YouTube something.
But it's a real boost.
Yeah.
And it really keeps us on track. If there's a lot of likes for a particular episode or a particular topic,
yeah,
it really helps us clarify, oh, that's good, let's do more of that. So if you want to kind of direct us a bit, it's a great way to do that.
And feedback in the comments
so nice.
as well.
It's so nice, the feedback's great.
So recently we moved from doing episodes sort of 15 to 20 minutes long up to, we try to sort of get like anywhere between 35 and 45 minutes. And we got a lot of feedback, people saying that they really like the longer videos and the step-by-step format and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, like if you like what we're doing, tell us so that we can then do more of that, you know. Or if you don't like it, tell us so that we can change what we're doing, because we really want to make this an awesome show to watch. Sorry, did we miss some?
No, I think we're right. Oh no, I've gone to.
Yeah. What questions would you guys want to ask us? Oh, okay. Tim Pierce, what questions would you guys want to ask us?
That's a great question.
I have 2 things that I'd really like to know. So, what do you guys as viewers, what would you want to see? Like, because we're guessing what you guys want to see. So, like, is there some parts of the boat that are more interesting than others? Is there?
Do you want more behind the scenes.
Yeah.
More technical stuff. Less music, more music.
Are you into like the being a boat that goes to places and does the touristy thing, or are you more interested in like the, I don't know, the technical side of the boat to get to those places, or a mixture of both? Yeah. And I'm going to do a plug. It's amazing to have the support of Patreons, but I guess the rewards and stuff that a Patreon may like. I'd love people to tell me like what would they want to have as a reward. Like, so Jess in a bikini. I can't offer that as a reward. Sorry. So.
Wrong channel.
But
although, like I said, you know.
Yeah. So like feedback on everything. You know, like whether it's like content on videos, like length of videos, music, rewards for like support levels on Patreon. If there's anything else, like if you'd like to have people come on the boat, or you'd like to come on the boat, or like tell us, help us design this to be something.
We're actually at the early stages, and we're learning really fast as we go, and there's a lot to learn, and it's so great when people give us feedback, good or bad. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
And we want to create an atmosphere of that it's okay to offer feedback. Just don't be a dick about it, but just, we really like it. It's really, really helpful, and we want to make this possible. We really want to do this, so the more feedback, the more it's possible for us to head it in the right direction.
Neil Lamont, before splashing, can you pressurise the hull for leaks? So we pressurise, so if it's a tank, like a fuel tank, we'll weld that and do whatever we need to do, and then we'll be able to pressurise that. There's a couple of ways you can do that. If it's like a pipe or something, you know, anything that can be closed off and will hold pressure, we'll definitely pressurise. Some parts of the boat are a bit harder to do, like for example the engine room's had a lot of plates replaced. It's a bit harder to pressurise the engine room. However, when we go to launch the boat, they're going to put us in the water and hang us for an hour or two, so we'll just be sitting there dangling, and I'll be going around like with a fine-tooth comb looking at all of the welds. Like I know every single weld that this boat's had, so I'll be going through the entire boat for 2 hours or so just looking for any signs of seepage throughout the boat. So it's not necessarily a pressure test, but it's probably as close an analogue as what we can create. And if it starts to leak, we'll just pull the boat back up and I'll weld that bit and then we'll put it back in.
It's not uncommon with trawlers around here to do that.
Yeah.
That,
I see no real advantage to dairying as long as you get the right part.
There's a limit to thrust?
Yeah, there is a limit to, so Mark Darcy, there's a limit to how much thrust you can have based on the prop pitch. Yes, there is, but bear in mind that Brew Pig is essentially a tug. It's designed for bollard pull. It's got a nozzle, it's got a huge propeller. It used to tow massive bags of fish through the water. It used to have a 400 horsepower engine pushing this thing. In Australia they're limited to 400 horsepower, so they put bigger and bigger props on, gear them down lower and lower to get more and more thrust. And some of these boats have 72 inch diameter props, so they're absolutely monstrous at 400 horsepower. So we're nowhere near hitting the upper limit on Brew Pig. We've actually scaled it back with the 350. Greetings from Doug's neighbour here in Tulsa. Oh, Bart, hey, how you going? Seek you when feeling well, and to all you boat
Thanks.
Hey Bart, good to have you on board, buddy.
Packing gland?
Around the prop shaft or dripless. We've got a packing, Brad Scott, packing gland around the prop or a dripless. We've got a packing gland simply because they are so unbelievably simple and repairable in any port in the world. I don't know much about dripless, but from an engineering point of view, I love the simplicity of a packing gland. Yes, they might leak a little bit of water, but so what? They're almost bulletproof, and you know, for $30 you can completely rebuild it. So yeah, definitely packing gland for us.
Sorry, I just moved it again.
No, you're right.
You find it. That's right, we've been past here, haven't we? Oh, look at that.
No, that's dead. Oh, that's rich. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, here we go, Bart, here we go. Packing gland. Neil, bob down. Neil, it's a boat, not a space capsule. I don't know what that's in relation to.
Vasco?
Bossy Bob, if you ever get up to 45 degrees north to west, let me know and I'll spring some decent craft beer.
This sounds really good.
Not watery practical beer here in the US. Thanks, Bosco. Jolly, just want to jump in and say hi. Keep up the good work here from Cold Denmark.
Oh, thanks.
See you, Jolly. David Greek, would you carry any protection against piracy on board, or is that not a problem so much these days? A friend was taking their Webley revolver on board his boat, but That was 15 years ago. Piracy is really not a big deal in the Southern Hemisphere. And where the piracy is pretty well known and pretty documented, so we don't really have any plans to go where the pirates are. Brew Pig's got the range to go around them, so we don't want to be in a position where we have to make choices that, like, you know, I don't want on my conscience that I had to shoot somebody, you know, so we definitely
we'll do everything we can to not be in that situation, not create that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, so as for having guns on board the boat, almost certainly no, but going through the northwest, absolutely, because we need them for protection from bears and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
you shoot over their heads to scare them off, because they can get pretty hungry and they want to come on board. And when you're stuck beside a piece of ice, you know, they can get on board. So
that said, there's some pretty cool photos and videos on YouTube of yachts that are going through the northwest, and you can see polar bears just walking up and like climbing up onto their boat, and people are inside all boarded down and stuff. And they're like filming it, freaking out through a porthole and stuff. It's
yeah, that would be really scary. Actually. Yeah.
Sharing the videos on social really helps too, so share the videos you like to help. Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah. Is there anything that you guys could do for us? Absolutely. Sharing amongst your friends, like letting people know about our channel, because that's one of the hardest things for a channel is getting people to know that it's even there. You know, like you can have the best videos in the world, but if nobody knows you're there, it's almost impossible to get that momentum. So if you like what we're doing, share it. We'd absolutely love to have that sort of exposure just amongst your friend groups, if you're happy enough to share them.
Thanks, Richard, for the donation.
Yeah, thanks, Rich.
Thanks.
God, he's awesome.
He is.
The longer format is excellent. Also,
oh, good, thanks.
Raw footage for DVD so you can sell down the line. What's a DVD? Sorry, that's a Gen Y thing. Slow and detailed builds are what makes YouTube videos so much better than build shows on TV.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I love the detail. I'm hoping that's okay that we're putting that in.
Yeah.
More. Yeah.
More information on how you are training to do this incredible trip, where you've been on a boat, and how you cope in the seas to date.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So.
We can do that in a.
Yeah, we'll do a video on that.
Yeah.
We'll do a video on that. Yeah. Cool. All right. More boat
Thanks,
building.
Mark. Yeah, we'll do that.
More boat building, technical stuff, less spiders, also a wombat.
Yeah, I hope there's less spiders.
Personally, I super enjoy when I see you two working together. You always end up laughing and ribbing each other. It takes it from interesting to feels like I'm watching a dream come
nice.
to life.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah. We actually edit out quite a lot, so yeah, we can include more. Yeah.
Mostly the swearing.
Yeah. We both swear quite a lot.
Bill Baggins, Brad, that might break the internet. So, here we go. Sailing Channel Marinus. I don't know how you say the last name on your channel,
Marinus?
But Sailing Channel Marinus. Yeah, greetings. Just had my coffee as a reward watching you. Cool.
Oh,
I mentioned your channel earlier for the long range SSB live feed thingy majackie that you did with the relay station. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know more about that.
Another half is Sparky on our boat. Would like to see your electronics package when you install. Yeah, cool. Bob down. Yeah,
Bob
definitely.
Right,
cool. I've got to start noting this.
Doggles.
He's our vote winner. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, cool. So in terms of electronics packages, we haven't got that far yet. But yeah, definitely when we get to that, we'll do as much of an episode around all of that stuff as we can, because yeah, it's an incredibly interesting topic, I suppose.
It's electronics.
Yeah, and like nav gear and like all of that sort of stuff. Here we go. Jess in a bikini, summer is coming. A fine tooth sponge, a fine tooth sponge, more like, I don't know what that means.
I'd like to see more in depth.
Electrical system videos.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nervous about showing people my electronics.
You'll be fine. It's a learning curve, right?
I'm not a Sparky, you know, and I get nervous about. Okay, so
he's overcautious. He really is. He's fine. You do fine.
I get scared that people are just going to rib the shit out of me for doing things,
ribbons,
you know.
But then you learn, you know.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. And we've got lots of advice, and Adam and Rich and like this. We've got so much advice. We'll be fine. Yes, we'll do more of that.
And I'll stop being such a wuss.
What's the maximum people you can have on board at one time? We're thinking 12, right?
It depends. So we'll be able to sleep 12 people. But if we do a day trip, we could have 20, 30 people on the boat. You know, if we don't need to accommodate them all for beds or whatever.
It's just a safety thing. Particularly in Australia, there's laws around safety, so it's how much gear we have, how many people we can have. Yeah.
I think the idea.
What you're registered to, isn't it? as well?
I don't know actually.
We have to find that out.
I think the idea of rebuilding an old trawler is great, big and strong, proven to handle overseas. Peter Donaldson, yeah, old trawler being old and strong and a proven boat. We know of 2 cyclones that this boat's gone through. One, the original guy that built it, he had it for 10 years, and he was trying to run away from a cyclone at the very top end of Australia, and he was running to get behind an island when the cyclone was coming through, and he didn't get there in time, so he was in the middle of a cyclone going through it, and being a bit of a balls out sort of bloke, he videoed it in the 70s with a big old reel camera thing, sitting in his wheelhouse bashing around in a cyclone. And another one was a few years ago, this thing, all the trawlers from the local area were steaming into Townsville to get away from a cyclone, and this thing was steaming straight back out into it, just refueled straight out to the fishing grounds. Even though there was a cyclone, it was going out anyway. Yeah,
there's a lot of really positive feedback about the boat, and people around here are very direct, so it's something we can trust. Will you have a water maker on board? Yes, we will. Yeah, definitely. Right now we've got 7,000 litres for water holding.
Yeah.
And we'll drop that down to more like a day tank, and we'll have a water maker on board, definitely, and then we'll have more fuel space.
Trying to find where we're up to. Water maker. In-depth. I want to see an in-depth technical breakdown of onboard doggy sailing. Will do.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, definitely.
Great question about water maker.
I like a what is it? So the thing.
A GoPro on the dog.
We were thinking a GoPro on the dog for a day and see what he actually sees on board.
I'd love to know what he gets up to, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Penguin Pirates of the Antarctic. Love to see you guys meet up with Sika.
Yeah, we might do. Yeah. It's certainly starting to look that way.
Sika and Reese off Zora.
Yeah. There's a lot of channels out there. We're probably gonna, we're gonna meet up with people.
How do you plan on keeping connected to the internet when out at sea? Answered this earlier. We've got 3 possible systems we're looking at. So the first is long-range 4G cellular internet. So it's out to about 20 kilometres. From there, it's probably going to be satellite internet, which is slow and expensive. But I'm pretty keen to find out about an internet setup that sailing vessel Marinus used, where they had SSB via long-range SSB via a repeater station that was based in, I think it was in the States, in Oregon, and then they were streaming HD video live from the middle of the Pacific. So if I can find out about that and get that working, that would be phenomenal. But for now, the backup is basically 4G and then cellular.
Brad Scott has said Sika will bounce off Brupeg.
I don't know, that's a bit of a tubby old boat.
That's a big boat. Maybe banging together.
Yeah. Blooper reel would be fun.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that, Bill, definitely.
Kiwi swearing is epic. I encourage it. I learn a new swear every video.
So you're saying we can swear more on screen? That's good.
Sailing Channel Marinus.
Did you hear that,
thanks.
Ryan? We'll edit that in.
That's
window material. What's your window material? I just saw that.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
What is your window material? Russell Dealer, what is your window material?
It strengthens glass, actually. Safety glass.
It's toughened, heat-treated 10mm glass. So our windows in the wheelhouse are maybe half a metre wide by probably 600 or 700 mil high. The survey spec for that physical size was 10mm. Brew Pig used to have 6mm glass, and it was like that for 40 odd years. Same size window, but thinner glass. And we upgraded it to a 6mm glass when we redid the boat. So pretty much throughout the whole boat, we're going to have minimum of 10mm. On the big windows that go on the back of the lounge beside us here, because they're just a physically much bigger area, I'm probably going to go up to 12mm, so half-inch thick glass on the back.
You have to be able to handle big waves over the back.
Yeah.
So we've got plastic on the back windows now just to close up the boat. But we'll be changing to glass. That's one of those jobs to get in the water before we get in the water.
Mark Darcy, you said a fine-tooth
comb
right, to go to the
makes sense.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Scott Jacko, Damien, it doesn't matter if you're not a Sparky, it's all about the learning experience. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's just that little voice in the back of your head, like, oh, someone's just going to think you're an ass.
But you've got people checking your work, it's fine.
Yeah. Also, over caution is a good trait in a skipper. Drop a spanner on a big battery bank and you'll confirm this.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. That probably needs to. It would be drop a spanner again on a big battery bank in my case sometimes.
Be proud of your work.
Cock ups and all. No one starts perfect, and people who spend time criticising others generally don't actually do real work themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyone who builds knows that mistake.
I learn from all the mistakes too, because when you do something wrong and you backtrack, you slow down, and I learn as you do the the recovery.
It's
really cool. I learned a lot that way. Happen in a best.
Open CPN and $1,000 radar, depth meter, paddle wheel, wind unit, electronics done easy. I want to have a PC based system up in the wheelhouse for like radar and AIS and like navigation overlay and all that sort of stuff, mainly because it's easy to replace stuff. You know, screens are cheap, PCs are cheap, all of the bits and pieces needed are low cost. I don't really want to have proprietary gear because then you start getting into kind of locked into one brand and all that rubbish. I don't want that. So I don't know anything about that side of things yet. I've got a huge amount of learning to do.
And that'll take time, getting the radar and all of that. That's going to take time. So we've kind of in our heads, we've got it separated in two different ways. Dump and run is what's necessary to get it safely in the water and moving.
I'm just going to take that roof down. Sorry, I'm just going to take a tub.
No, you don't need to. Don't worry about it. It's coming and going.
All right.
And then all of that stuff like radar and all the right gear and everything, that'll be when we're in the water, and that'll be a slow thing.
Right. YouTube is currently the world's second largest search engine, owned by Google, and likes, shares and reciprocal links are seen as trusted links and therefore allows Brew Pig's channel to be recommended.
Okay, so it's important, all the likes and the subscribers.
Taking an action, like subscribing to a channel if you're not, matters apparently, and likes matter, and sharing it. Cool. Okay, good to know. And sometimes half-assed work is what a particular task needs and nothing more.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that?
Show us the old photos behind you. Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be doing an episode soon on before and after, what the boat was like when we first got it and the transition of each area of the boat. That's hopefully in the next 2 months. We'll put that together. So we're going to show all the old photos and all the old footage. So
this is Brew Pig from... I actually don't know how long this is ago, but that's Brew Pig in her fishing days.
It was a wee while
ago. Yeah. But yeah, Jess will do the before and after and get that up for you, because the transformation is pretty cool. Like, the engine bay was just the most disgusting room in the history of the world. There was like barnacles and flaking paint and just crap
Ryan put a
everywhere.
bit of the old footage in there. It was really good. The comparison was really good. Yeah, so we'll do an episode on all the areas of the boat. And actually, you can see the tents we were in on the back of the boat. We had groups of people coming up. We used to travel up from Brisbane to do the build.
Traveller, you're not a sparky and you said you're not a welder. Well, you're welding spot on, so I guess you're a sparky.
That's logical.
Oh, Richard, happy 5th birthday to Michigan.
Thanks, thanks.
5
years old.
I know.
A little man. He's been on, Misha's been on boats most of his life. We got him when he was 11 weeks old.
Yeah,
and he lived the first 3 years on a yacht.
Yeah. Rick, the Polo Rick, hi from the UK, love the work that you've done so far and look forward to the rest of the build. Hit me if you guys need specialist fasteners, nuts and bolts, etc. I can send you anything that you can't get hold of.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. We can't talk to you from this YouTube thing, so send us a message on either Facebook or our website, brewpeg.com, and we can then touch base with you. So
that'd be
great, that goes for anybody. If you want to chat to us, get hold of us that way.
Tim Pierce, internet package of the carrier pigeon. Yeah, maybe.
That's the system Australia uses. SSB sail mail is how we're going with the iridium for emergencies. Okay,
right,
cool.
Right. Okay, thanks, Mark.
Michael Himmelstein, can we get a link to the video from the other channel? Can we get a link to the video from the
other channel?
Michael Himmelstein, can we get a link to the video from the other channel? Do you mean the long-range internet one using SSB?
Oh, Marius.
If that's the case, Sailing Marius, if you're on, can you post the link onto the comments and we can get that out to everyone? Because I think it's awesome,
man.
Just
post the link anyway.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Brad Scott, hit the super chat button. Just me. Gone with the Winds YouTube channel just posted on how they stay connected while sailing. Might be worth a watch.
Okay,
cool.
Gone with the Winds. Okay, cool. Yeah,
that's a cool channel. Tim Pierce, everyone knows you use a magnet to check for water leaks, not a fine-tooth comb. Not in Australia, it's the other way around. The magnet expels the water. Southern Hemisphere thing. Where are we? Will the boat stay a black colour and why that colour? Tony Fawkes.
We like it.
We like the colour.
We were told off so badly when we did it around here. White is the right colour.
You're insane. It's gonna be too hot.
Orange.
You're gonna cook. You're gonna be pulled over by customs at every port. It looks like you're running drugs.
We're actually doing a silver line along the side, and we're going to have sponsorship on the side of the boat as well, so it'll change quite dramatically, and we're going to have signage on the front, so it'll change the it's not going to be like a black boat. Yeah, but yeah, we appreciate it's not everyone's cup of tea. We just think it's really funny.
Pekin Pa. Quick question about taking the boat from commercial trawler to private boat. Was it an easy process? So when we bought Brew Pig, it had sunk for 2 months, been pulled out of the water and stripped out. So as soon as a commercial boat goes underwater, they have to resurvey it anyway. So it has to be, because it's obviously a lot of gear would have broken and been rubbish by the time they pulled it out of the water. So once it's out of survey, it's just like a private boat at that point. You can just buy it and use it as a normal boat. So for us, the process was non-existent. There was nothing to do.
It was actually really hard because when they stripped all the gear off the boat, they cut it out really hard and fast, and it was a lot of repairs for us to do. But that process, I mean, if it's in survey, it's probably in a really good shape, or
most
of it's in good shape. It's got the gear that it needs to be a good private vessel. So yeah, it's normally it would be good. For us it was different.
Stephen, hello. I look forward to your videos every week. Will there be a regular video this week? Who is going to get in the water first, Brew Pig or Seeker? So, okay, cool. So this week the live feed is the episode. So this live feed is going to be up for a week, and then we'll have a new episode out on Patreon on Friday and out on YouTube the following Tuesday.
But we're doing an update for Patreon to more in detail about what's left to get in the water. So it's quite a big list, and we'll go a little bit in detail. It'll be a little bit longer, almost an episode, I suppose. That's going to be on Patreon though. Yeah.
And who's going to get in the water, Brew Pig or Seeker? God, I don't know, eh? I'm not sure.
But he's saying 2 years, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought Doug said he was going to be. He's still a couple of years off, but maybe that's like a couple of years till he's finished. I don't know. I don't know what his exact launch date is, but God, I hope it's us. I suggest,
yeah, well, it's going to be a pretty full-on couple of months.
Mark Darcy, I suggest standalone radar and a basic plotter, AIS and GPS feed into that, but if you lose the plotter, you have the radar, which is 9/10 of the plotter. Where you go. Yeah, so that's a really great point. Mark Darcy's basically said using standalone systems in case something fails. That's absolutely something that we'll do. So we've got separate depth, speed, we'll have a separate standalone radar, and the nav system will be duplicated on at least 2 or 3 machines. Yeah, I don't want a multi-function unit. I want the ability to overlay stuff, but I want individual pieces of equipment that can then be brought together. But if any one thing dies, it doesn't kill everything else. What did the insurance adjuster say when you told them you wanted to buy Brew Pig's hull and restore her?
Wasn't really like that.
No.
This is an Australian buy. So yeah, no insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who was selling the boat, his price came down and down, and we basically watched as the price went down to a price we thought was okay, which was actually scrap value of the hull, because we figured that if we buy it, we get on board, we realise it's buggered. We want to be able to get our money back for the project. So we waited till that point and we got the boat for that value, but there's no insurance because it was just to be a hull in here. You can't get insurance on that
until it's a functioning boat in Australia. You can't actually get insurance.
Yeah.
No one will give you insurance to build a boat in Australia, unless it's part of like home and contents or something like that. But this is absolutely not that. It's a steel boat in a commercial yard, you know. Yeah. So
and it's an ex-commercial boat, so there are different rules for that from a private boat. So we're quite restricted. But the yard's been amazingly supportive, and we've been very, very careful.
Just got done with yard work. Glad to see you live from Eastern Oregon.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Yeah, cool. Oh, congratulations. That's really cool. Will you be soundproofing the engine room or enclosing the engine itself? Ooh, lovely question.
Yeah, so we're soundproofing the engine room, yes. Will we be enclosing the engine? It's actually something that I've thought about. I saw a super yacht a while back that had this basically what do you call it? 2 layers of glass.
Oh. Double glazing?
Double glazed. They had a double glazed like glass box over top of the engine, and it was in its own. It's a long story. It's a super yacht, so it was amazing. But it was in its own room. It had this glass box over the motor. You'd see everything, but it was almost silent. Like the amount of noise it cut out was just amazing. But
some background, because the engine bay is so massive, and we don't have a lot of hydraulics gear or anything in there. It's just the motor and the generator. we're going to have some tanks in there, maybe a holding tank for the toilet, but it's a big space, and we really need there's a lot of sound to deaden, so that's why Dane's thinking of maybe actually deadening around the motor rather than the whole room, and then just doing the necessary parts of the room.
And part of the thought is, like, the insulation needed for soundproofing is really expensive. Like, for, I think it's 4 foot by 3 foot
and it's fireproof.
panel. Yeah, it's fireproof and it's soundproof. It does all sorts of stuff, but it's like a 4 foot by 3 foot panel, and it's about $90 per piece that size, and it's about an inch thick. If I insulated the whole engine room, that's probably about $5,000 worth of insulation. But if I made a box and I could maybe put 3 inches of stuff in the box, it's probably about $2,000 of insulation. But I actually end up with a better enclosure, like a better soundproofing system. So
yeah, but I'm not so sure, because I love being able to access everything at once on a motor. That's the downside for me, is because you'd have to have like little cubbies where you can access stuff, and there'll be holes for. I don't know.
It's not
I get the idea, but I just don't know.
Pros and cons,
we're in discussions.
Yeah.
So if you have ideas, throw them at us. But yeah, I'm not sure. I definitely see the point of it.
EJ-Kansas, love your build. Cool, man.
Brew Pig will be floating before you get the shore.
Michael, yes, the long range internet video.
Yeah.
If Sailing Mariners doesn't post it, I'll track it down and put it in the description anyway. So either way, it'll be the WinLink is another at-sea mail system using backdoor modems that I know of. Not sure how well it works.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Jake.
They keep moving.
Wow, we need to go faster.
For your launch, where are you going to get your bubbly?
Bubble.
I don't know. Why do you the old guy 1947? Do you have some suggestions? he asks curiously.
That's actually a really good point. We've got to do that. Apparently, what was it? Channel 7.
Yeah.
Over here, they did an article on us, and they want to come back for the launch. So
Channel 7's like a news media TV outlet.
Yeah, and I think there's another channel that wants to be there as well. So it might be quite a big gathering. So yeah, it could be quite fun. Or if we start thinking it could be really embarrassing, we'll see it on the day. I flippin' love Brew Pig's colours.
Cool, yeah.
Oh, cheers.
Oh, cool. Sailing Channel Mariners. I throw the link in the comments. The chat doesn't allow links.
Okay.
Okay, no worries.
We'll put it on. Yeah, we'll make sure we do that.
You'll need as much heat as you can get.
Thanks.
Brad Scott, you'll need as much heat as you can get. Yes, definitely. We're going to be using waste heat off the main engine and off the generator. And if both of those fail, we've got diesel boilers in the engine room that are going to be powering the heating system in the boat. So again, 3 layers of redundancy for heating.
Of course, this takes time, so it's all time. That'll be all once we're in the water. We'll start building those systems.
Jim Nichols, I like the construction side and the tech.
Cool.
Also nuts and bolts of how to work the boat. And Jess a smile.
Oh, thank you.
I like your smile.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Thanks.
Do you plan to do the Bering Sea for king crab? Do you plan to do the Bering Sea for king crab?
Is that the island?
No, I think that's fishing. I think it's fishing.
Right.
No. I plan to do the Bering Sea, but not for fish or crabs.
But I'm sure that there'll be fishing on board. Like
there will be.
People come on board. We don't fish. I suppose we both are literally allergic to sea fish.
I'm lucky if I know what end of a fishing rod to pick up.
But if there's some fish I can eat, so yeah, when I can, I will fish for food.
In survey isn't a term heard often in the West. I don't know. Mind elaborating what that means. So, so in Australia and New Zealand. You can have like a private boat, which is you can't charge money for anyone to be on it, and you can just as a private owner you can go and use it and do whatever you want. If you want to go fishing or take passengers and people are going to pay you money or you're going to earn from that boat, you have to be in commercial survey. So when I say in survey, it's basically the boat has to be up to commercial specs. So like your safety gear has to be of a certain type and amount.
But it's down to details like the welds have to be done by a professional. They have to be a certified professional, they have to have certification, their welds have to be so far apart, they have to be a certain kind of weld. It's like it's an incredibly detailed and difficult process. For us to go into survey, we're estimating about 200,000 to put this boat in survey. Because you have to have certain gear and all of that. So it's something that. So
we obviously couldn't afford to put this boat in survey. It would kill the possibility of this happening if we tried to do that. But in saying that, the survey specs are often really, really great, and
we use them as much as possible.
Yeah, so we use them as a guideline. Like so, on the roof above us in the lounge where we are, in order to attach the roof the way we had to have a weld that was 65 millimeters long every 260 mil. So you know, that spacing. So I use that. That's the survey spec. So wherever possible, we build Brew Pig to survey spec, but she won't be in survey. For the paint, I think you need some racing stripes on the bow, or to steer like a rally car.
Yeah, we actually will have one like that.
Oh, cool. Michael Himmelstein, Marinus, I subbed you.
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
Cool. The old guy gets sexton.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Jess to challenge the strength of one of your welds again. Sooner than later, you'll have her welding.
Better than you?
She's an awesome welder.
Yeah, God, there's a lot to learn though. It's cool.
Doug used to say 7 years. 10 years later, he's reduced it to 3.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah, it's like that, eh?
That's how time works when you're building a boat.
Yeah.
My boss and me used to have a joke. He always used to say, "How far away are you from launch?" And I said, "Oh, no, really close. Like, not maybe even 2 months." And it's been 2 months for probably 3 years. Yeah. I really hope it is 2 months now.
Very good on not buying into
device integration.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
I just got a tablet to control my plotter while I was in a steel boat. I'm able to switch between chart decks on a cheap Android tablet.
Yeah, cool. You've got to be so careful when you're doing the setup. Yeah.
Bill Baggins, survey is meeting all standards for commercial use.
That's right, yeah.
David, great chat, guys. I'm glad I found you. Thanks, man. Good to have you along. Brad Scott, isn't it Sunday morning there? Why aren't you all drinking mimosas? Chaz, Life on the Mould talks about surveying process in more depth. Oh, cool. Hey, Damien, Jess, hello from Arlington. Oh, Mike Love. Hey, how you going, Mike?
Thank you, babe.
Peak. That channel building a fiberglass boat could do the job for you. That channel building a fiberglass boat could do the job for you. Not sure what that means.
Yeah, maybe.
Pop down. Aussies and Kiwis don't drink mimosas. Sunday morning we have beer and toast cheese sandwiches.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Double glazed engine room?
Double glazed engine room. Now that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Hi, James.
James, how you going? Morning. Bob, did you say beer and grilled cheese? Mark Darcy, I prefer Jess's solution of engine access in some ways. Part of engine maintenance is being able to hear off noises before they seem problems.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And that's a huge trade-off. Like at the moment, we've got a big engine room with beautiful access to a big motor, you know, and it's something that I'm really hesitant to give up. But at the same time, I've got a huge cavity of an engine room, so the compromise. Like I know it's going to be loud and it's going to vibrate. So.
Yeah, but we'll just do it one bit at a time. We'll just work from one end to the other, you know, the accommodation end down to the back.
Maybe it might not even be that bad, you know. Yeah.
Well, it was pretty amazing when Dame started the motor up. It was pretty amazing in here.
Russell Dearlove, maybe hinge side panels on the engine box, internal video cameras. Absolutely. So. Yeah, one of my thoughts was like gull wings or some version of that to lift the whole thing really clear, and then you can access the whole motor really easily, but also just having little panels like where your dipstick is or oil pressure or, you know, whatever, like able to just open up and check stuff really easily.
But you're checking every 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. Now, and the other thing is you mentioned cameras. So yes, Brew Pig will have 2 video cameras in the engine room, one from the back of the engine and one from the front, so that up on the bridge we can see like a live feed of what's going in, like a security camera basically, a live feed of what's happening in the engine bay. So if anything starts going pear-shaped, we'll see it as soon as we can. And then if we do the box idea, we'll have cameras and lights inside, so that when the motor's running, it'll be fully lit and there'll be cameras in there as well, if we go down that road.
No, we're not going to keep the external cooling system. No, not when we're heading towards the ice. For now we're okay, but yeah, we're going to change it to an internal system. We'll probably pull out in New Zealand to do that.
Oh, I need to put the YouTube channel name on the boat, make it very prominent for the news. Yeah,
we were thinking about
one
that.
thing we were thinking of doing.
Yeah, we tend to kind of not be out there with it. Yeah, we're doing more of that.
We're like really shy people normally, so yeah, we're getting over this whole trying to, you know, have lots of people watching us thing. So, the pointy end of the fishing pole goes towards the sharks.
Right, thank you for that.
Traveller, do you have room in the engine room for a workshop? Yeah, we do. Yeah. We don't have standing headroom, but we certainly got heaps of space, and I want to put a nice bench and, you know, toolbox and chest and all that sort of stuff in there. At a minimum, I want to have a decent vice, but I would love to have a lathe with a small turret mill in there as well. I'm just not 100% sure if I can actually fit it height-wise, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah, where Doug is, old guy, 75 47.
Right.
He's saying, yeah, where Doug is actually located is 500 miles from the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite a trip, isn't it, to get out from there. Can you still run with paying passengers if not in survey? No. But there's a system globally that boats use that actually bypasses that need, and also you know, we're only in Australia for the first part of this, so we'll be elsewhere, which means to some extent different rules apply. But yeah, we can still do it. It's just it's more like a boat share arrangement than paying customers, because we don't want to do charters. If we wanted to do charters, we'd go and get a boat we can afford to do charters. In survey, we don't want to do that. We actually want to have a different experience. We want it to be a very collaborative.
Kind of like sharing a boat with your mates, you know, like everyone chips in for food and gas and whatever, and then you go places. That's the feeling we want. We don't want to be a cruise ship, you know, like we don't want you to come on board and expect us to be waiting on you. We want you to be taking watches and like pushing ice away.
It's about having that experience. You know, if it's possible, and if you're someone who is not able to do that and still wants to come on board, you come on board, and you don't do that, you do something else.
You do what you can.
But it's about doing it together. So
Stephen Harlow, what kind of speed do you think that Brew Pig will do in the water? Oh, probably 30, 40 knots. I've been told that it cruises at 9 knots, and our guesstimate is maybe 11 for top speed. But all of our calculations are based on backing it off to 7.5 knots at a cruise speed, mainly because we can get our fuel economy right down if we back it off to that. So all of our prop, gearbox, engine and everything is set up to sort of be set up to cruise at that speed, because it's the optimum revs for the current motor setup.
There's a change on Seeker's launch date since it was announced. Gosh, it's so like that. You just don't under or overestimate lots of things as you go along.
It's incredibly specific, but...
Oh, is that actually the launch date?
There was a change on Seeker's launch date since it was announced. It's now 1.5 years. It's going to be on a Tuesday at 11 a.m.
That's really funny. If you're going to be on TV, get some good sponsors to finish the boat the best you can. Yeah, thanks. So we've got one at the moment, a sponsor. We're building that. Yeah, thanks.
Do you have any estimates on what it'll cost to kick in when sailing, like X dollars? Oh, so
divided by depends on the trip.
Right. So Digima, I think what you're saying is basically how much does it cost to get on board? Do you have any estimates of what it'll cost to kick in when sailing? So it does. It depends on the trip, but and we really don't know yet. We haven't done the numbers because
we've got an idea of what it is. And it's actually not that much. So I mean, because running costs on veggie oil is a fifth of what it is for diesel. You know, sharing in for food, sharing in for we'll just do a bit of a maintenance inclusion in that, but it's actually quite small. And our goal is to make it actually really affordable and accessible as much as possible, because people just can't do it otherwise. So we'll keep updated as soon as we have details and we have an itinerary for our first couple of trips. We'll make sure you know as soon as possible. Well, Patreons get first.
Patreons get a lot of background information. So as soon as we know anything, we'll release it out onto that and sort of get feedback as well.
And we'll also put it out there that we're starting that part of the process. So get involved. If you want to get involved, get in touch and get on Patreon and stuff like that. We'll explain the process.
But it's also going to be, the goal is to keep it as affordable as possible. So like, if the equivalent trip on a cruise ship is $5,000, we'll be talking hundreds rather than thousands on Brew Pig. So it'll be, you know, again, it's like going out with mates on a boat. So,
that's interesting. Yeah, you forgot the Vegemite. You could build the glazed blocks around the engine and the hinge. Yeah, that's what Dame's thinking. Yeah. How do you go with insurance being a research vessel and not in survey? It depends who you're contracted to, whether it needs to be in survey and what their specs are in terms of their contracts. So we wouldn't be able to do anything that's required that we're directly contracted to a university, for example. We have to, unless there's someone who doesn't need survey level
it's probably going to limit some of the things that we can do with the boat. But like, so yes, it might limit us, but it's going to cost us probably $250,000 to get the boat in survey. So, and we can't do that. So that's going to limit anything. So
it's a real shame that it's going to limit what we can do, but it's just kind of something we've accepted. But we'll do what we can, and it just depends on the contract type. Well, over here, I mean, once we're moving around the world, there's going to be many different types of research groups and contracts. So we'll see as we go. but we'll keep everyone informed of the process because it's such an interesting process.
With your cameras, look for the pan tilt zoom. That way you can move the cameras and see what you need. Oh yeah, cool. So cameras in the engine bay, look for ones that can pan and tilt and stuff. Yeah, cool.
That's near the port of
Catoosa?
Okay.
No worries about hauling back water.
Right.
Oh, it's Mike.
Yeah, right.
Actually, it is 10 o'clock by water, according to Doug's chart. Oh, that's what he told me.
I want helm time.
You can have helm time.
Being part of the crew, doing actual work is one of the biggest reasons I want to get on board. Anyone can buy passage, that's no fun though. And like you'd be able to say, I like the look of that thing over there, can we go over there now? That's the whole purpose of it. Yeah, like, exactly.
And I took a boat through such and such passage, like
with a group. It's
like,
a different atmosphere. It's really different.
Dom Real engine room. Oh, Dom from Sydney.
Oh, hi Dom.
Hey mate, engine room cameras are an awesome idea. If it all goes pear-shaped, you'll be guaranteed 1 million views.
True.
You'll easily fit a small machine shop in the engine room. I think so.
Thanks.
What's the favourite meal on Brew Pig other than chilled penguin fillet from Tim?
Roast chicken.
Roast chicken.
Yeah. We're almost, I don't know if you know it, paleo diet. We eat veggies, fruit, meat. You
have to test your ideal cruise speed given all the changes you made to the boat. Fuel tanks may have changed from theory. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like, it's a learning curve, definitely.
As I said, we've never had this boat in the water, so we don't know what it's like as a boat. We know what it's like as a land-based caravan, but and there'll be a huge learning curve once we get it in the drink, you know.
Yeah, we've got a, like what's it called? The tilt.
Sorry, what?
Tilt.
Oh, trim.
Trim, like trim. Just learning trim's gonna take a while.
Sorry.
Sorry, you go.
Stephen Harlow, you make me choke. Laugh out loud. 30 to 40 knots. Where are you hiding that reaction?
Nice. Wasn't sure how that worked. Will be great experience. You've put up much thought and love into it. Yeah, share a beer team with you. Yeah, I hope so.
The way around paying passengers is everyone chips in for provisioning and brings their own sea bag. You just have to agree on the menu and the destination. Yeah. Trips, Walter. Do you have an idea on your set number of bunks for helper crew? So so Brew Pig can sleep 12. We're not going to have 12 people on all of the trips. Like for example, when we go to Antarctica, we'll probably have maybe 6 people. Mainly because we're going to be down there for such a long period of time that we need to carry enough food and stores. And I don't know if we can fit 12 months worth of food for 12 people on this boat. Like it's probably just physically not possible. So some of the really hard trips will probably limit the amount of people, but on some of the easy ones, like Great Barrier Reef, for example, where it is a pretty easy trip and we're only 6 hours away from the mainland. If anything happens, we'll probably chock the boat out to 12 people and have a great old time. So,
but the general rule is 4 bunks for crew.
Yeah.
For main crew.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested in a more serious undertaking with Brew Pig, get in touch because there's a bed available.
There's 2 comments. One about Rockwool. Hang on, Bert Skelton mentioned getting Rockwool, and Mark Darcy said yes, it's good, heavy as hell, but reasonable price. We can't actually do Rockwool, so Jess's health limits a lot of the.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
it's so frustrating for Dave. It's so not fair. But the dust when you're putting the Rockwool up. Irrespective of what material, because I know it can be made of ceramic or plastic or like different materials. It's the design we've come up with is the best one that I can handle.
Yeah.
And saying that, we're still looking. Once we're out there in the world, we may find other things. But that particularly is not so good.
Yeah.
So it's surprising. When your brain is injured like mine was, it triggers a chemical thing that happens that you're everything that's actually toxic, you're more sensitive to but like the canary in the cage in a cave, you're the one who kind of feels the toxicity. Other people might get cancer when they're 70, but I get it early, so it's just something that happened with the injury.
Yeah.
So Dame's really quite hamstringed a lot of the time, but what that actually means is when you walk on the boat, you'll notice that it doesn't have a smell.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like a boat.
It's actually a clean space.
Yeah,
and if you have asthma or you are sensitive to chemicals, if you're a bit sensitive to different things, you'll find that this boat's actually incredibly easy to be on.
Yeah.
It actually smells like a fresh boat. Most boats I've been on actually smell of diesel or something, and this one doesn't. It's very fresh. It's actually a nice environment.
Just me, will you be making your way to the Californian coast? Very potentially. We don't actually know, to be really frank.
But we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you updated.
We want to see Antarctica and the Northwest Passage, and there's a lot of America to see in between those two.
Yeah.
So I don't know which side. If we're going to go, I think we'll probably go the Atlantic side. I'd say almost certainly. And then maybe come round and go the other way.
It's such an unknown.
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
But yeah, we'll keep you updated. There's a lot of interest in America with the boat, so yeah, we'll try and do it. Definitely.
Yeah. David Brown, who's going to be captain, and do you have a license?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. It's something that we'll work on. Dame's very experienced, but it's not licensed. I'm licensed in Queensland, but I don't have like my Masters 5 or whatever, Yacht Masters or whatever you call it. But that's what we'll work on. But where necessary, we'll have someone who's fully qualified until we are. As for captain, apparently I'm captain. Just call me Captain Jack. No, we actually, it just depends on the trip and what's happening, who's in control of what expedition.
Yeah. Deck hammocks in Antarctica will be a bad idea. I don't know, it depends if you want to freeze in. Bert Skelton, I would consider rock wall insulation sheet for sound absorption covered by round hole perforated steel, sheet steel.
Right.
The hole size determined by the highest noise frequency the engine meets fire speeds, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of advice about the soundproofing because it's quite a big issue, and the fireproofing as well. Bill
Baggins, I can bring my own beer fridges, there's ample room for beer storage.
Yes.
Reckon we could figure it out. Tim, only if you have a really good sleeping bag. Rock wool is deadly, awful stuff, should be illegal.
Yeah.
Bill Baggins, what about the wall insulation comes from a sheet? I actually get allergic to the bloody lanolin on it.
Yeah.
I'm from New Zealand and I'm allergic to sheep. Stay away from New York Harbour. Okay, Matt Evans, coach, if you plan on 6 Cliff Bars and a jar of Vegemite per day for the crew, you should have no trouble provisioning for a year for 12. You may end up with only 2 at the end of the voyage. 1 jar of Vegemite lasts about a year, doesn't it?
Depends on the size.
Bill Baggins, if you're in Antarctica, a couple of minutes in the water should keep your beer happy.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
I want to carry on. Where are we? I want to carry on watching the live stream, but I'm having to prop my eyelids open.
Yeah. We've actually been going for almost 2 hours.
It's almost 1 a.m. in the UK. Night from the fellow brain injury side. Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is getting a bit late. We probably will wrap this up, guys. I just want to make sure I try and get through the last year questions. All right, so there are new engine room insulation paints which will absorb the noise and insulate. Shipyards in Holland use that. Even Royal Who's man? I don't know how to say that.
Right, okay.
Okay, cool. On the shipyards.
Thanks. We'll have a look.
Thanks. We'll check that out. Yeah. Sailing Channel Marinus. That was. Jazzy, America trip in ICW.
A lot of stops. Yeah.
Sounding like Jack Sparrow and Hector Barbosa. Yeah. I'm the captain. No, I'm the captain. Great progress. Love this channel from Northern Ireland.
Thanks,
cool, man.
Thanks.
How do you share a rock sheet? All right, guys. So I think we'll wrap this up. It's been really awesome having you guys along.
Thanks.
And yeah, please, if you're watching this after the live feed, please chuck in your comments if you like our channel and you want to see us do something different or show any different sort of areas and stuff. Let us know. And if you're considering supporting us on Patreon, we really appreciate it and just want to say thanks in advance.
Oh, thanks, guys.
So thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, lots of thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Well, see ya.